Happy New Year, everybody. It is Brendan. We are going to start 2024 by closing out 2023. So I'm bringing you another What Sold on eBay video. This is going to cover December, and I'm actually going to feature, and we are going to analyze 25 items that I sold the month of December. Let's get moving. Okay, this December was so much better than last December. Last December I did 8,800, I think, total in gross sales. This December, close to 12,000, 11,700 in gross sales, and then my net was 8,153. The great thing about all of this is my cost of goods for the entire month was only $1,028, $1,028.83 to be exact. So I spent a lot less. So my numbers are going to look really, really good for December. The year finished out really well. We'll talk about, I think, the yearly stuff in another video, but a really good December, considering, it's harder to work a lot right around the holiday time. So I didn't put a ton of hours in this month either. Even though I said I was going to work a little bit more this year, I didn't end up doing that. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. I don't remember what I paid for this. It was going to be between $5 and $10, but if you're not familiar with Vitantonio as a bolo brand, try to familiarize yourself with it. This Pizzelle made, I'll show you what the inside looks like too, and it wasn't perfectly cleaned. Like, it took a little bit of time for me to wipe it out, and it still, had some residue. I'm going to leave that up to the buyer to get that clean, but I did get full price for this. I sold it for $250. This was an amazing sale, and I have sold a few of these in different variations, but Vitantonio, look for that brand. Not every one of them is going to be worth $250, but this one here, the Pizzelle made, definitely one of the higher dollar amount items too when you look at the sold comparables. So this was a good sale. Took me 5 months to sell, and $250 on 8 is just amazing. So keep your eye out for that brand. We'll move on to this next little figure here. These Ohio State Dragon figures, and I don't remember if it's just Ohio State that's the bolo. They sell for a good amount of money. There's different variations. I think there's like an African American one. This is a white guy. There's a few different types of football player in these packages, but I think most of them are bolos. So Dragon Models Limited. There's a picture of that along with the UPC code for you. This one took me 3 months to sell. I sold it for $80. And it cost me $4.99. I don't remember if I had this in a video for you folks or not, but a lot of these items that you'll see selling, I do find while I'm doing like thrift videos for you. So you might recognize some of this stuff, but that was a great sale. This one was definitely in one of my videos. And I remember at the time thinking that I could get around $100 for this brand new, this BBC, it's James Burke Connections. It's a DVD set, so there's 5, let me look here, 5 discs total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Factory sealed, and whoever that was that said this in the comments, thank you. They mentioned that they thought I could get around $200 for this. So I priced it at $200, and it sold in 2 days for $200. I think it cost me $3 or $4. I don't remember. You have to go back into the video. Some of you have much better memory than I do. I don't measure anything or any item like by the exact buy cost. I measure everything monthly. So sometimes the prices that I pay, they start getting cloudy, even though this wasn't that long ago. Anyway, $200. Can you believe that? $200 for this box set, and it's a bolo. It consistently sells in the $100 to $200 range. Brand new. So keep your eye out for it. This was just an amazing find, and I've trained myself. Anytime I see a DVD, especially a set that says BBC on it, I scan it and look it up just out of habit at this point. So this was an amazing sale. I hope you guys find it as well. All right, next one here. I feel like Kuhl as a brand is kind of a no-brainer. This one sold twice for me at $68. I had it listed for $80, but I sent out some offers. First person bought it, and it was too tight for them in the arms, so they returned it, and then I sold it again not too long ago. So second time around, it took about a month to sell, and I think this was $14.99, and I also think that this was in one of my videos as well. So $15 on that, $68. Kuhl is an amazing brand. I just sold a Spitfire jacket, I think is the name of that brand, for around $200. So keep your eye out for all things Kuhl. I even have a pair of pants that I sourced at the bins that have paint marks all over it that I have listed for $25 that I expect to sell as well, even with the flaws. So next one here. This was a little bit of a challenge to price because there were not very many exact, if at all, sold comparables on both the 90-day eBay app and going back even 3 years on TerraPeak. So they're chafing dishes. I had them, I think I paid $15 and I had 2 of them. I sold them to the same buyer, both for $270. So I'll take you through some of the pictures. One of them had, I think, is it this one that I've picked, had a ceramic dish on the inside. Let's go to the, when I open it. Okay, so see how this white dish is ceramic. The other one just had a stainless steel dish inside it. So they were slightly different, but I did sell both of them for $270. So paying $15 on these was amazing. This took me 9 months to sell, so I sat on them for a little while, but definitely worth it at $15. I mean, I could tell you, you know, keep your eye out for something like this, but this is really just like more of a flex, I guess, than anything. It was just me taking a chance, sitting on it, and getting lucky because I couldn't be guaranteed that these would sell at all. So I figured $30 was low risk for such a high reward, and they're gone. So maybe if you see something similar, grab them. Next thing here, I think this thing was $5 or $6. This was also in one of my videos, was in one of my thumbnails actually. This little cabinet from Ward's. Let me open this up and I'll show you the images. Very good condition. These were selling in the $50 to $60 range, but I shot a little higher at $65. I don't think this had any watchers on it either. Ward's Master Quality is what the sticker says, and this still sold for $65 to, I believe, a buyer with 0 feedback. So $65, I paid around $5, and it sold within a month. So this was a great sale, and again, there were enough sold comparables to help me make this decision. This was an easy decision to price it at $65, but it would have sold between $50 and $65 all day long. It's definitely a bolo. There are different versions of this cabinet, but this one certainly is one that you should be looking out for. Really easy to ship, very light, and definitely a bolo item to keep your eye out for. All right. Next thing here, Peter Millar, soft lamb skin leather jacket. This thing was in really, really nice condition. Let me maximize the pictures for you. I paid $15 for this one as well. This was on like a markup rack at one of the stores, and it's weird. See, like, I don't know what's going on with my phone. Can you see the picture, how different the difference in color? This is the only thing that bothers me about shooting pictures at the time of day that I was taking this. I think I was doing this really early in the morning, and I get this hue, this weird hue when I zoom in. But it doesn't look like it had much of an, like, this is more of the true color of what the jacket was, and certainly this picture as well. So ideally for me, in the middle of Ohio, the time frame of like 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., generally speaking, outdoors when it's overcast is the best time for me to take pictures. But this was early in the morning, and that just what happens to the pictures. But listen, I still sold it. I sold this for $170, and it cost me $15. It only took 2 weeks to sell. So it was just a great jacket, and there were good comparables to go on that led me to believe this would be an easy sale. So Peter Millar jackets, Peter Millar shirts, I'm not sourcing those as much as I used to, but this jacket was definitely a bolo item. So keep your eye out for it, and we will move on to a pair of boots that I forgot I had. So I had these in the basement. Last January, I sourced a bunch of this brand here locally, and these were just sitting in the basement. Like, I had put them away, but I didn't get them listed. So Asterflex, Bitflex Chelsea boots. I marked them pre-owned just because they have some markings on the front, but I can tell you that these sell like this. So if you saw this, and they have the tags on the back, here's the picture of the tag hanging, but like these marks here, this is not uncommon for this brand, even in new condition. But I marked them pre-owned just, you know, to play it safe, I suppose. And I sold these for $128. They sold really quickly. They sold within 4 days. They cost me $20. They're a size 11, and then I found a size 10 as well that I sold a couple of days after this pair. So $128 on 20. Probably was able to get that price because it did still have the tag on it. $100 regularly pre-owned if you end up finding them is my guess, and they're in decent enough condition. So let me show you the soles on these really quickly. Almost looks like they were never worn, and even still had like the packing materials on the inside. So, and the tag still attached. Great sale. Next thing here, this was one where I just kind of guessed on the price. It is a, I don't know if I don't know how you, I'm gonna butcher this, Lay Essentials. That's what I'm gonna say, even though it's probably not how you pronounce it. A leather crossbody that was like tricolor or trifold, if you will. And I'm gonna take you through some of the rest of the pictures here. Very clean. I think I probably saw one or two of these, maybe not even the exact comps, selling for this price range. Maybe it was Poshmark that I noticed it on, because I didn't notice a ton of solds for this brand, this style, at this price range. And when I can, I like to shoot high. So I had it listed for 100. It sold for $100, and it took 3 months to sell. This was an accessory, so I paid $2.99 for it at the store that I bought it at. So $3, sold it for 100, and it sold in 3 months. Keep your eye out for this brand. Let me go back up for those of you that might not be familiar with it. And you can see it says that right there on the front. That was an amazing sale. All right, next thing here. If you hear a bunch of sniffles, like the whole house is sick. So I have my young daughter here playing next to me, and I'm super congested. So it just is what it is. We're dealing with some sickness here in the house. But yeah, if you hear some sniffles in the background, I've got a buddy right next to me. Anyway, Den Caddy, I think I paid $10 for this one, and this had a little bit of wear to it. I keep maximizing the wrong picture. Towards the top, and I try to photograph these very clearly for the buyer to see. So it took a little bit of time to sell. It was clean on the inside, but it did have that little marking, and it still sold for $85, I think. Yes, sold it for $85, and it took 7 months to sell. So these don't come around that often, in that they're not a lot listed. So I felt like it was just a matter of time before it sold, and I'm okay to wait 7 months to get the price that I did, especially having paid 10. So if you ever see these Den Caddies, grab them, as long as they're not completely beat up, because you're likely to sell them, and they sell for a great price too. So next thing here, this is another one that I just guessed on. So it was a New Era 950 Cleveland Indians hat. There are no other comparables on this exact style. So I thought, trying to capitalize on the fact that you can't get Chief Wahoo anymore. It's hard to find like this sort of script font on the front. It does look like the sports specialties hats that have that script from the 80s that all the teams were wearing at one point. It is not, but I threw a $130 price tag on it, and somebody shot me an offer of $100, and I took it. So I sold this for $100. I paid $2.99 for it, and it sold in 5 months. Sometimes, for me, what works for me is if I'm gonna err on the side of anything, I'm gonna err on the side of pricing it too high, not too low. And this was great. $100, having paid $3. Somebody found the value in it. I think they left positive feedback. I mean, it's just an amazing sale all around. So, now the market is set for this exact style and this exact hat. So if you end up finding one similar or the exact same, you can probably get the same amount that I did for it, and we will move on. I don't really know what this is. These are a motorized window shade opener. I don't know exactly how you use it. Let me flip to the back and we'll look at this together. I bought 2 of these at a Goodwill. They're factory sealed. I paid $15 for each of them. This one sold for $90, and I think I still have one more in stock. And again, I don't know exactly what it does. They open and close your blinds automatically with remote control capabilities. I don't know. At any rate, I saw a sold or 2 in this price range, and so was just following in the example of the sold that I saw. So this was just a lucky pickup. If you see it, I think it's obvious because it's sealed. Like, most of you would grab this and at least scan it and do your research as well. But yeah, this was a good find. 15 on 90, and this first one sold in 2 months. So like I said, I still have one left to sell, but keep your eye out for it. Okay, next thing here, this is another one where I had to kind of guess high. The price ranges for this vintage Longchamp shoulder pack with the little toggle on the side. There were some selling in the $30 range, some in the $50 range, some in the higher. And so as good of condition as this was, I felt I could get $100 for it. I think I sold this for 85, so I sent out a 15% offer to watchers, and someone grabbed it. So I sold it for 85. I think the bag price is like $6 or $7. This was not marked up at all, and it was in really good condition. So I'll run you through the rest of the pictures here. Definitely authentic, very clean. Again, focusing on if there is any damage at all, making sure that the buyer sees that so that they're not surprised in advance when they receive it. But a very clean interior. There's the tag on the front, and then there's a little stamp, a number stamp on the back. And so that led me to believe that it was authentic, even a little bit of damage on the straps. But this was common for ones that were selling in a similar price range. It looked like that's just what happens to them, and it didn't look like it deterred anybody in the past from purchasing them in this condition. So I had no problem picking it up, even knowing that damage existed. So took the best pictures I could. Again, it's like sunny, and I was probably doing this early in the morning, so the pictures aren't as good as I would like them to be, but it still sold for 85 bucks. So great sale. Keep your eye out for it because it is definitely a bolo bag. And Longchamp in general is something that you should be looking up regardless. Just make it a force of habit, but that was a good sale. Next thing here, another bag. You guys saw this in one of my videos as well if you've been following me for a little longer. This I also paid around $5 or $6 for. It was just sitting in like the luggage area. I had it listed for $275. I took an offer of $185. It's sold in 5 months, but the buyer thinks they want to return it. They haven't. I don't think they've done the return request yet, but they're like, I'm a bigger guy, and this looks a little bit too small, so I might be getting this back. But I did sell it for $285. $185. I wouldn't mind getting it back because I would like to sell it for $275, but I accepted an offer that I wouldn't normally accept. That was really, really low. At any rate, $185. It cost me around $6, and it took 5 months to sell. Keep your eye out for all Saddleback bags. They are definitely a bolo. That's a great one to resell, especially if you can get it for a cheap price. Next one here, also in one of my videos. This was a surprise to me. This is a Sash, and I believe it's the Sash bag. When I went to their website, or I was doing the research on this Sash, I learned that this particular Sash wasn't sold on their website. It was like an exclusive sort of like rarity unicorn, if you will, for their email subscribers. So they made a very limited run of this marble blue style color. So I knew that even though these retail for around $150 or so, that I could probably push it up because of how exclusive it was. So I have rare, I have unicorn in my title, and I sold it kind of right in the middle at $180, which I think is still a slightly above the regular ones that they sell on their website. So I'm happy with $180. It cost me around $5 or $6. I don't think it had a price tag on it when I was featuring it in the video, and I don't remember what they charged me. Could have been $6, $7, $8 like the purse price, or it could have been the accessory price. I think it was the purse price though. At any rate, $180 on this is just amazing, and there's really nothing to them. It's pretty, it's just hard to get, and this is a trend right now. The Sash trend exists, so keep your eye out for things like this because there is a bigger market than there otherwise would be. So $180, and it sold in 8 days. It sold extremely fast. Next thing here, if you guys can look at the title and see how I spelled Eddie Bauer, I reiterate certain things, and this is one of those brands that, for those of you that can't get like the top of the line or like the it brand right now because everybody else is finding it or the stores are purging it, sell Eddie Bauer. It's amazing. I sold this jacket for $100. It was extremely clean. It's a very vintage 90s parka, and I'm going to show you the picture of the tag. I had it listed for $125. I sold it for $100. I think it cost me $15. What size was it? It is a men's large, so it's a great size, but very clean, well kept, well maintained, and it is a Gore-Tex Ridgeline Eddie Bauer. So I love this brand. I continue to sell it. I think this is like the third or fourth coat that I've sold right around this price range. My daughter is climbing all over me. Honey, what do you need, babe? Are you okay? Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Focus on Eddie Bauer. It's a great brand for resale. I've said this before and I'll say it again. So $100, I paid 15 for it, and it only took 2 weeks to sell. All right, move on to the next one. This is one that I've never sold before. Taft, another very unassuming. I mean, it's a very clean looking shoe. It's a pretty looking shoe, but I didn't know that Taft was a bolo. I don't think I've ever sold this brand before. So pictures of the front, the back, and then I'll show you what the logo looks like. So it says Taft right here, and I think it also says it on the insole, Taft, and that is it. I don't remember there being any other markings, so I had to use Google Lens to get the style of the shoe. So they call this one the Jack, and I don't remember if this was in one of my videos or not. I think it was. So I paid $5.50, $6 for this, and they sold for $100, and it only took 9 days to sell. So this is definitely a bolo brand to keep your eye out for. These are pretty expensive, brand new, and I don't think there's a ton of them on the market. So I was very pleased to sell these for $100, and I think these sold on December 25th. All right, next one here. Again, this was the Stephen King books were in one of my thrift haul videos. This is the drawing of the three, the Dark Tower. I had it listed for $100. I sold this one also for $85. I think the hardback books are $1.99. These weren't marked up. They didn't have a sticker on them, so I think I paid either $2 or $3 for this. And it would have, if I had waited long enough, I could have sold it for $100. But I send out offers pretty aggressively, and someone scooped this up at $85. So again, $2 to $3. Only took 1 month to sell. First edition from 2003. I always look for signatures when I open up the books. This one was not signed by Stephen King, but I'll take $85 for it, especially with what I paid. Next one here. This was in one of my videos as well. I love these kind of items because this didn't stand out as a bolo item. I saw maybe one, maybe two in Terapeak that had sold, but I like Bodum as a brand, and so I just took a shot and made the right guess. Double wall thermo glasses. I had 2 of these, and I think the same buyer bought both of them. So I sold them for $35 a piece. They cost me $5, and they sold quick. These sold within 1 month. That's way faster than I expected them to sell. But sometimes I'm padding my inventory with items that might be unique that I think will sell eventually. These just happen to sell way faster than I expected them to. So if you see something similar to this, at least scan it, because if you source like me and you use some of the methods that I use for reselling, this is one that you want in your inventory. So 13 ounces, the model was 4547, and yeah, sold both to the same buyer. That's a great sale. Okay, next thing here, this was in one of my videos. This is a Windchime Paulo Soleri. Let me take you through some of the pictures to show you what it looks like. I think I held it up here. This was actually this is not a very good picture of this item, but the rest of them are a little bit more clear and easy to see and easy to determine. This was a fast seller as well. I think I quoted myself as maybe being able to sell this for around $150 to $200. This is like my initial research when I'm in the store, and then I get home and I do a little bit of a deeper dive and decided to push this up to $200, and it did sell for $200. I only paid, I don't remember, I think it was between $6 to $10 for this. I don't recall if this was marked up more than $10, but it sold very fast. I sold it in 11 days, and I believe this buyer also had 0 feedback. So I'm not afraid to sell to buyers or respond to offers from buyers who have just created an account or have 0 feedback. Some of you might treat that a little bit different, but it doesn't bother me at all. I think everybody has to start somewhere at some point, so I don't assume generally that someone's trying to scam me or something along those lines. So this was a good sale to a buyer who probably happened upon it in Google potentially and created an account just to make that purchase. Don't be afraid if the buyer has 0 feedback. It's probably in most cases it's not going to hurt you. Okay, next one here. I love this Mrs. Claus. This one was marked $15, and another one where there were maybe only 1 or 2 that had sold in the last 90 days, or maybe even going back farther. I was able to sell it in new condition because it did still have the tags on it, and I sold it for $70. This was a great sale. She sold in 2 weeks, so this was definitely a crunch time related sale because the holiday was quickly approaching, and 70 on 15 is a fantastic return. So I love this. Karen Didion, her Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus combinations seem to sell well. At least I noticed that when I was doing my research. So keep your eye out for it. Even pre-owned, probably sell for a good dollar amount. This one here, the only reason I picked up this, in Le Sport Sac, the bags will sell. I feel like based on what I learned doing my comparable research is you might get top dollar for them. A lot of them fall in like the mid price range category, $25 to $30. This specific one had sold in the past for $50, black with the gold hearts. So I was just copying them, listing it for $50, and I did eventually sell it for my full asking price. I did have offers come through on this bag. There were a lot of people that wanted to buy this for $30, but I held out and sold it for $50. It cost me $5.99 and it sold in 3 months. Again, could have sold it quicker if I was willing to accept an offer, but I'm more often than not happy to wait to get my price. So $50 on this bag, this specific style. If you see it black with the hearts, grab it. This is the second time now that it is sold for $50. But Le Sport Sacs in general, you can get it for a couple of bucks. A lot of them selling in the $25 to $35 range. Next one here, there are a lot of Plants vs. Zombies plush that will sell for a high dollar amount. You're going to see a good majority of them sell for like a lower price, but there's enough of them that float in the like $40 to $50 price range and above to keep my interest and keep me looking them up. This one I got at a garage sale for like pennies, so maybe $1. I disclosed in the item description that there was some paint loss in the eyes that you can clearly see, but it's still sold for $60. Isn't that unbelievable? Took very clear pictures of it so that the buyer knows exactly what they are getting, and it sold for $60. Unbelievable. It did take 6 months to sell. Maybe the condition had something to do with that. Maybe the price had something to do with that, but I got $60 for that too. So if you don't know anything else about Plants vs. Zombies, just look every one of the plush up because a lot of them will get you a really, really good price. So this isn't the first one that I've sold for, I think, over $50, but this is one that I guess in some ways surprises me because of the damage, but somebody can go in there and fill the eyes in. It's really just about having an item that's really hard to get is my guess. So $60. Great sale. Move on to the next one here. I sourced this at a, excuse me, at the bins. And it's a Camelback hydration pack. I take the hydration pack out and I flush it through. I like clean it with soap and water and then pop it back in, let it dry. They come out pretty easily. Like you just zip the top and slip the hydration pack out. But getting it at the bins was like $2 to $3. And I sold it. I think I priced this, I don't want to say aggressively, but I had it priced right in the $40 range. And that's what it sold for. It sold for $40. Again, I paid around $3 for it and it sold in 5 weeks. I like picking up hydration packs at the bins because I get them cheap and they all seem to sell. Camelback is probably like the best brand or the brand that I find the most for them. But hydration packs in general, especially if they have the bladder with them, make sure that you are cleaning the bladder if you're buying it pre-owned. I would want that and appreciate that as a buyer, and so I always clean mine out, and this one came out great. So we're moving on to the last one here. I paid $20 for this pair of Takova Boots. They are the Dylan, and this is a very popular style for Takovas. So there are quite a few of them listed, and I shot for the stars at $360. I sent out an offer that somebody jumped on for $306, and that is what they sold for. They sold in 2 weeks. They were a men's size 9.5. They were pictures I took on an overcast day. You can see right here, perfect time of day, perfect conditions. The color came out looking great. The shoe looks shiny even though I didn't touch it, and I got $306 for it. So there you go. 25 items to close out the month of December. Normally, when I do what sold videos, it's just a what sold video, and when I do sourcing videos, it's just a sourcing video. But I'm adding this to the end of my what sold video because I'm recording it on January 1st, and so I'm walking into a Goodwill, and this brand in particular has a very bad habit of raising their prices on January 1st. So more than anything, I'm just curious to see, because I haven't been in here yet, if they've raised their prices. So let's find out, and if I find something interesting, I'll show you. So women's short sleeve shirts still $4.99. That doesn't mean that prices won't go up in January at some point. I'm just looking specifically on January 1st. Women's coats, $9.99. The handbags still look like they're $5.29. So far, so good. I don't see any price increases. Let's go through the aisles. So what does this say? Women's skirts? I didn't even know that was a category. $4.99. What do we have here? Men's jeans, $8.99. It doesn't look like anything has changed, which so far so good. Men's pants, $4.99. Men's pants, $4.99. I wonder if the shoe prices have gone up. I think they were, I want to say $5.69, something like that. $5.39, $5.69. I guess I'll find out at the register, but maybe we'll shop for a quick second here. We got a bunch of cards. Oh, look, Foreman. The lean green. I mean, I should probably look that thing up. Pair of shoes, generic. I don't see anything here, but we got a lot of stale carts. You see some games here. How's it going? Good to see you. Some old school ornaments. I am here, this is like it's 2 p.m. Usually I'm here in the mornings just because that's all that time allows for me. So a lot of this stuff might be picked over, but I don't really see anything at first glance. Let's just keep looking. I like this lamp, this dragonfly, but you look at the top, it's got a little bit of a dent in here. I don't think I want to mess with that. Can that be fixed? Yes. But am I going to be the one to fix it? No. This has got to tighten the finial a little bit here. I like this stained glass. I like the dragonfly. I'm going to pass on it though because I don't want to deal with the damage at the top. That's too bad. It's a nice North Face pack Jester, but coming apart at the back there, so I'm gonna have to leave this fella behind as well. Sometimes all you have to do is look past the carts. Check this out. Bacon, a Yankee Candle bacon candle. My gosh, what are we asking? $6.99? I don't think this was ever burned. Hold on, I gotta test this out without breaking it. Give me a second here. That smells like bacon. No kidding. This is actually a bolo. Keep your eye out for it. Probably not easy to find. I don't know, maybe $40, $50, $60 based on what I believe I've seen in the past. All right, I'm keeping it. I know there's some parents out there that'll appreciate this because I feel like this is what we are. This is what we are, especially when you're dealing with children at home. So shout out to all you hardworking mothers and fathers who don't lose your minds, especially during the holidays when the kids get bored after 2 seconds and you have to try to entertain them. Oh, am I glad I showed up today. This is brand new, sealed. $1.99. Hogan Knows Best. Remember that series? Seasons 1, 2, and 3. Factory sealed. And this sells like $30, $40 pre-owned, but I have a sealed one here. There's a couple listed. One listed for 80 or sealed, one listed for 90 sealed, so maybe I can come in at 70 and charge shipping. But I'll go into Terra Peak to see what if any of these have sold brand new. But I mean, $40 pre-owned, kind of can't go wrong, right? What a score. All right, I got to get out of here. I'm going to be spending all day here. Brendan here, Dad Planet, the One Man Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you had a wonderful New Year's celebration. We'll see you in the next one.